Yeah, he was into heroin. Which is disgusting to me.
Right.
It's like, you know. But you say Ace could handle his booze. Actually, he couldn't handle it. But when it came to playing guitar, that was one of the minor miracles that I've witnessed so many times. I could see Ace literally plastered, falling down drunk, and you hand him a guitar, and he could play it. He couldn't function as a human being, but when he was handed a guitar, he could still play it. It was just a minor miracle.
Yeah, I can't remember. Was it you or Bob, the story the day that they were supposed to play Madison Square Garden?
That was Bob.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That seemed like a good story. So
yeah, well, Ace was planning on playing, Kiss was playing the Garden, and I think it was a week or two before they were down in Lakeland, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened was Ace got electrocuted down in Lakeland. He grabbed onto a metal railing and was holding the guitar, and it wasn't grounded, and he got really, blasted with some voltage there.
Right.
And he got knocked out and everything. So the next week they went wireless. Kiss they were one of the first bands to do that, and usually their sound checks were like 3, 4 in the afternoon, and Ace went down with Bob. Bob was in tow with all this, and Bob would they went down in the afternoon, and Ace was too drunk to do the sound check, so they handed Bob the wireless guitar, and Bob said it was just a thrill to play to an empty Madison Square Garden. And play the guitar, and Gene and Paul kept asking Bob, go into the bath, see how far you can go. And he was like walking all around the garden, playing with Gene and Paul, and going into the bathrooms and everything. He thought it was like the thrill of a lifetime.
Right.
And then when he went back home with Ace was procrastinating and complaining that he had to play the Garden that night, and he didn't even want to do it. He didn't have the drive to do it, or the desire.
Right.
And Bob kept saying in his head all that time, saying, I got a thrill playing to an empty garden. You're going to play to a full house, and you're so jaded about it. This is bizarre and weird. He just couldn't grasp the concept from Ace.
That is amazing. Well, I guess one last thing is, I guess, was there attention? I guess Ace has a little bit of a racist side to him.
Yeah, there's a lot of controversy over the book about it, and a lot of fans don't believe it, and Ace is into Nazi memorabilia and things like that, but he goes beyond that a little bit, and a lot of the fans don't believe it. I have a second book coming out called Kiss and Tell More.
Oh, okay.
And that's coming out in May, the end of May, and there will be more substantiation of the allegations of the Nazism and things like that back up what I've stated and the photos that I put in the first book, Kiss and Tell.
Oh, okay.
So for those disbelievers and everything, they'll have to read the second book, and maybe they'll open their eyes a little bit more.
Gotcha. So Kiss and Tell is a little appetizer, and I guess more will get the meat of the story.
Yes, because I knew it was going to be a controversial book, and a lot of people wouldn't believe me, and I put... I have a lot of documentation and photos in it, but I have plenty more to back up my stories, and the second book would be just as funny also.
Great. Well, yeah, I guess let's talk about some of your stories with Ace now. It's, I guess, enough of the inner stories of Kiss. I guess he has a real manipulating way about him. That's kind of what I got out of the book.
Hey, he's a charming guy, actually. You're gravitated towards him and things like that, but underlying is always these, ulterior motives and things like that. And,
right.
And what I experienced throughout the years was, especially when he was trying to make excuses to get out of his house, he would call me and say, "Hey, if my wife calls you, tell her I'm with you." But he was out philandering about a lot of the times, and I would be saying, shouldn't you be writing songs? Shouldn't you be doing this? Shouldn't you be doing that? And I was kind of like a reprimanding guy with him.
Right.
I wasn't like a kiss ass.
Gotcha.
And it got into, he didn't want to hear it a lot of times, but he knew I was right.
Gotcha. Well, it seems like he has a little fascination with impressing famous people.
That Bob has the funniest story in the Kiss and Tell book. When they met up with Kramer, Michael Richards from
I'm glad you brought that one up. That's
from
great.
Seinfeld. It's hysterical. They Michael Richards was on this show called Fridays.
Yeah, I remember it well.
Yeah, and it was in 1980. I remember it because he always stood out to me as a talent on the show.
Oh, yeah, I loved his skit where he was playing Army in the backyard.
That was historical, yeah.
Classic.
Well, Kiss was scheduled to perform on Fridays. So when you did a show like that, you spent the whole week rehearsing with the cast and, doing what you had to do on the show. So they went to Hollywood for a week, and Bob went along with Ace, and they met up with Michael Richards, and Ace was continuously drunk the whole week and was talking in Michael Richards' face, spitting on him and everything. He was really obnoxious drunk, and he thought he was being charming.
Right.
And Michael Richards kept on, turning to Bob and going, "Will you get your asshole friend away from me?" So in the book, I even said there's an episode called The Close Talker.
Right.
With Judge Reinhold. I forgot his name. And he was in that episode, and I think Michael
Seinfeld.
Richards came up with the episode because of Ace back then.
Gotcha. Well, it seems like I guess like he used to like to ask you to help him move, and he loved you coming up to his recording studios. It seemed like he wanted everybody to adjust their schedules to his.
Yeah, that definitely you got the right idea with that. Yeah, it was whenever he called, he wanted you there.
Right.
When he snapped his fingers, and I wasn't like that. I mean, I was my own person, and I had my own life and my own scheduling, and I worked with many other artists. It just my life didn't center. We were very good, tight friends, but he would ask me. After a couple of years, you learned why he needed you there. Mm-hmm. I mean, there were other times he would call me and say, "Come on, we're going to record, we're going to jam, we're going to this," and you go up there and you ended up not doing it, and it just became a waste of time. And I'm a person that doesn't waste time.
Right.
I need things done yesterday, and I don't like to procrastinate or jerk around. And Ace seemed to do that a lot with his life.
Right. Seems like he lived for picking up girls.
Oh, the girls.